We've been focused on protecting your property. Police are now warning the public about what has been a continuous and growing threat.
Bad guys are using high-tech consumer products to help them commit crimes. Turns out many of those gadgets and gizmos that we love so much can be repurposed for stealing your stuff and even stalking. The I-Team's Andrew Lawful joins us live with how Apple AirTags can be used to follow your every move. Andrew?
That's right. So AirTags like this one cost about $30. They're a little bigger than a quarter. Now, the idea is to keep us from losing things, from your keys to your luggage to your dog. You use one of these. If it's lost, you can find it with your iPhone. But it didn't take long for people to realize that they could be used for other things, less innocent ways as well. Over the summer, Sarah Smith went through a rough breakup with her boyfriend. They were together for 8 years and have 2 children. So how would you describe your relationship with your ex?
He's very controlling. He doesn't want us to be separated. He wants us to stay together, and he just wants to know what I'm doing and trying to control my life now that we broke up.
Sarah Smith is not her real name. At first, Sarah tried to co-parent with her ex, allowing him in her home to be there for things like family dinners. She hoped it would be cordial. In September, she got a notification like this one on her iPhone, alerting her that an Apple AirTag had been close to her recently. A few clicks and she was able to make it ping.
So I started playing the sound and I could hear it coming from my purse. Went through my whole bag trying to find it, and then that's when I found the cut in the fabric, and then I reached through and found it.
Who put the AirTag there?
My ex did.
And he wasn't done with just that one. How many more times did he put an AirTag?
There is 4 total.
Sarah knew it was her ex because the iPhone lets users see the last 4 digits of the cell phone number the AirTag is registered to. Those last 4 numbers were his. She never let him back in the home. The other 3 AirTags were all found in her car in the following weeks, in the spare tire well, under the hood near the engine, and in the undercarriage. After finding the one in her purse and the trunk, her lawyer told her to call the cops. What'd the sheriff's office say?
They didn't know what AirTags were, so I had to explain to them what they were. I showed them what they are, how they work. I wrote down a report. But they told me the same thing my attorney told me, is that there's really nothing they can do because there wasn't a direct threat for my life or physical violence related to these tracking devices.
In the report, after determining there was no immediate threat to Sarah or her children and she had nothing further to report, the deputy writes, no crime was identified at this time, and provided her with information regarding resources available to her through the sheriff's office and victims' rights organizations. But victims' rights attorney Stephanie Myron, who is not involved in Sarah's case, says tracking someone without their knowledge is a crime.
So sadly, I see this a lot. You know, a lot of my clients, when they come to me, they've already been turned away by law enforcement and they've been told, sorry, there's nothing we can do. And the way that our system works, not every officer is trained on every new law, especially with technology. So the officer who reported or investigated or took the initial report, they may not even be aware that these laws exist.
Myron says Sarah's ex broke 2 Florida laws against tracking and stalking. The anti-tracking law is pretty clear, saying a person may not knowingly install a tracking device or tracking application on another person's property without the other person's consent. Myron adds the stalking statute is intended to protect people in situations just like Sarah's.
The stalking law, why I focus on this law, is because it's put in place to prevent the physical harm. It doesn't have to get to that point. It's very proactive in nature. And so even without threats of harm or violence or actual physical violence, this law applies.
Sarah is just one of a growing number of people who find out they had been tracked unknowingly.
I called the police station. They had no idea what I was talking about, and I had to conference both the police force and Apple into a call.
Gabrielle Barcelona got the AirTag notification on her phone when she was living in Lake Worth Beach last summer.
Well, it was frightening because everybody I texted and asked them, hey, do you have something in my house that you left or in my car? And nobody knows what an AirTag is. That's kind of scary.
Gabrielle reported her suspicions to the sheriff's office, asked if they could look into why the alert popped up on her phone. Was somebody spying on her? She never did find the AirTag.
It just vanished one day. So after I made the police report, I just no longer saw notifications of it. It just kind of left.
We've been clear, Apple needs to stop selling AirTags.
Albert Fox-Kahn is a privacy advocate and executive director of Surveillance Technology Oversight Project, or STOP.
They try to make their devices appear like the most secure thing we can purchase, and then they start selling stalkerware. And to me, this completely undermines all of the promises they've made about taking our privacy seriously.
While an iPhone will automatically alert you if an AirTag registered to someone else has been near you for long enough, Android users are left in the dark unless they download an app designed to detect them.
And the idea that somehow you're going to download an app if you're an Android user and then manually check anytime you want to know if someone's tracking you, if there's a device nearby, how many times a day are Android users supposed to be checking?
Both women in this story are rattled by what happened, but they don't necessarily want AirTags taken off of store shelves. They say they'd rather find a way to ensure the technology doesn't get abused by criminals. Sarah hasn't discovered any more AirTags, but is still worried about what might happen.
The way he is still to this day, this has been 8 months since we separated. He's still trying to control me and my life and who's around us and the children. And so, you know, it's not finished yet.
So we bought our own AirTag right here to put it to the test. So here's some video from earlier this week. I have 2 iPhones, one for work, one for personal. I activated the AirTag on Monday afternoon and registered to my work phone and put it back in my backpack that I bring to work with me every day. Still today, 4 days later, my personal phone still has not gotten notified that an AirTag has been near me. So theoretically, someone could have been tracking me for the last 4 days and I would have no idea still. Now, just a few weeks ago, Apple vowed that they would work closely with law enforcement in tracking down people who use these AirTags illegally. But the company insists it's rare that that actually happens and they have no plans to take them off the market.